Jared, I'm gonna back off. Jared is here, Bill is here, Lynn is not, Nick is here, and Michael is here. So 4 out of 5. First agenda item is approval of minutes from October the 2nd.
Motion to approve as presented.
Okay, motion to approve by Nick, all second. So all those in favor say aye.
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 I wasn't here, but it looks good.
Okay, so 4-0. All right, are we just going in order?
Yes.
Okay. So first up, development plan is the A25-11-21 Lancaster Township Helping Hands Crisis Pregnancy Center Incorporated. Approval for proposed 135 feet, 5-inch and 88 by 88 feet commercial building located on Commerce Drive in Bluffton and is zoned to B3. So we have somebody from that, come up to the table. We have to broadcast this, and so we've all got to be on a microphone. And so if you want to state your name and give us a brief synopsis of what you're doing.
Sure. Do I need to turn on? Or
If the button's up, is the button up?
It's on.
okay. Calvin Timms with Engineering Resources. And the project, just new building with new parking lot. We are going to be rerouting a storm line around the proposed building. And I believe the owners are in coordination with Lowe's, the property to the south, to kind of work through some of those details. Everything else will be collected on site. There's going to be a new sanitary line. We're verifying the location for that, whether it is tapped across the road or if we're going to have to cut in a new line. And then there's going to be a new water. The water's on that side of the road already, so the connection for that's going to be pretty straightforward.
So on rerouting that storm drain, do you anticipate basically running it south along Commerce and then just along the south property line?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Is the coordinating with Lowe's, whether it's going to remain on the subject parcel or whether it's going to be over on the Lowe's property when it's rerouted? Is that the?
Some of it is the drainage piece of it. There's kind of a odd grading piece between the two properties, so picking it up in that new storm line and regrading some of their property to go to those new storm structures.
And then detention, that's in part of the Lowe's regional detention area.
Yes, sir.
So detention just goes to that pond.
Yep.
They did receive city sign off. There was no comments on that end of things.
Okay. And do you know, Mike, that storm drain, is it considered a city storm sewer or is that all private? Or do you know?
I don't know how that one was handled.
I don't know that it matters, just.
It does service the public street.
Right.
But I don't know if they just have jurisdiction over that section or the line all the way to.
Okay.
They didn't have a question in regards to rerouted.
Maybe before the plan commission meeting, if you could get that information of if it is a city storm drain, that they're okay with it being rerouted.
Okay.
Just in case there's any questions about it.
So the parking lot will connect to the parking lot to the east also, or to the west
They're in coordination with that property owner, yes. We're working with the owner as a potential to disconnect that and add a new curb cut off of Commerce Drive there to the north to get a few additional parking stalls. So we're not sure which route they would like to go, but they are in coordination if they do want to tie into that parking lot to the west there.
Okay, so if, in the case, a new drive access onto Commerce is needed, then that we'll need to run it back through the city for street department
Okay.
review.
Is that Indiana Physical Therapy?
Yes,
What's,
yes.
that's what's adjacent.
Yep.
If they do request that north access, would it have to go through a whole plan commission again, or?
We need updated drawings
Okay.
and send it through for that.
Okay.
So would it be for the submittal for the plan commission, would it be beneficial for them to show it both ways or have a exhibit that not doing a curb cut, one with a curb cut, and then we can approve it either way? pending-
Yeah, I mean, that is,
But that way you guys are covered that it may be a curb cut, it may not, but here's what it would look like either way.
yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
So if there was an additional curb cut, would it still connect to that other parking lot so that there'd be two accesses or just two accesses to this parcel?
Just two accesses to this parcel. So if they do the north one, it will disconnect the west parking aisle, but they're gonna add like 3 or 4 more parking stalls on that west side.
On the adjacent property?
No, on this.
Just on-
Yep, just basically where that drive is connecting, they're gonna replace that with parking stalls.
It would probably be best if you had
Exhibit for-
either or, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. That's all the questions I
I
got.
don't have anything.
It's easy when they go to a regional pond.
Yes.
Yes, makes it simple. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
So he'll be coming to the
Yes, they will be on the.
next plan commission. Okay.
Correct.
His copy back up
Yep.
if you need it or not. Okay, next up is item 25-11-22, Harrison Township, Shawver LLC requests approval for a proposed 20,000 square foot building and parking lot. Property located at 812 South Bond Street in Bluffton and zoned I-1. Okay, so if you could state your name for the record so we know who's talking to us.
Good morning. My name is Bob Gaffer with MLS Engineering. Engineer of record when this goes through. You said it's a 20,000 square foot building addition. It's going to be a locomotive repair shop, maintenance shed. So at this time, there's no planned offices or water or sanitary or, so the only utility coming in right now is electric. And then if he expands and puts an office in there, he's already had the sanitary and water out there a couple times and met him on site. There is a fire hydrant in the middle of the site for no apparent reason that they're working with, moving that off of the middle of the site. And from that fire hydrant or from that location, they actually connect to the neighbor, so he knows they're not exactly sure how that water separates, goes to the neighbors, the water department, so we'll take care of making sure no water's interrupted to any adjoiners or anything, and putting our fire hydrant on a property line or near a property line, so it's not interfering with that. We're proposing a dry detention pond. First meeting with him, I asked Shawver, that is, how he would feel about replacing the 8-inch line to a 12-inch line if they needed to, and he said he was okay with that. Then he saw it on the plans and measured it, and it's not sitting as easy. So I ran drainage calculations actually with 8-inch line and 12-inch line, and it changes the storage by like 3 or 4 inches. I don't remember the exact number so the pond's oversized. That pond is sized to where the pipe between the pond and the last manhole structure, that orifice control will be in that last manhole structure, so everything upstream of that will actually be acting as the pond. I think we worked through how that's gonna be there. I wanted to put a sump on there just because he's using gravel, so that would help to keep sediment out of downstream from there type of too. As far as stormwater quality control. Like I said, and he owns that railroad to the northwest of his, so he's using that there, and that's where there'll be a locomotive shop on that type of. He does not own the railroad to the south or southeast of him. So.
So years ago, was it Blue Flame? Somebody had propane out there. I think it was
Yes.
Blue Flame. I wonder if that's why the fire hydrant that is out there that
Probably. It's a
seems like there's no apparent reason.
previous owner, yes.
That there used to be,
Yeah, I didn't.
south edge of this property, there was they filled, 20-pound and 100-pound propane tanks. There was a larger tank. That's probably why there was a fire hydrant.
But they are working with, I've met out there with the water company out there too, so. And it appears he's got every plan commissioner or water company, whoever, I met with him, and he's, hey, we're out here now, can you come meet us? And water met us without knowing, sanitary met us without typo, so. He's working with all of them, and I have since been in touch with them to get, I know approximate depths, but at this time, there's no, other than electric to run doors. He wants to pull the locomotive into the shop, be able to take it to the east of the shop, and then also back it back out, so. That's why that's kind of set in the middle of if he needs to bring in 2 cars, the first one can go all the way through, and then they can both back up.
Okay.
So do you know, is his anticipation that just working on their own equipment, or would they work on other?
As far as I know, and don't hold me to this, I understand it as only working on their own, but I couldn't guarantee that. That would be a question I'd have to get back with him on that.
It's kind of irrelevant, I guess.
Okay.
But I just wondered if that was the thought of working on other pieces of equipment. He's along a railroad. Yeah.
As far as I know, and I don't know that, just as he indicated with what he's had on there type of, and he did say it would be at most 1 or 2 employees. There's not going to be, this isn't a 40-person shop. I would want one too. At this time, no, and if they expand, he will put an office and bathroom, and I would guess kitchenette, but, he just kind of said is, right now, financially, he doesn't need this shop for operations, but financially, it makes the most sense to him, so in other words, not that I don't know this problem, but apparently his money's burning a hole in his pocket, and he wants to make the best use of it, is what it's, you know what I mean, type of, and I'm using expressions there, and I don't mean to be giving a guy's financial, but as I understand it financially, this is the best time to think of that, so that's what he's.
Be a good problem to have. So The other thing, kind of historically, drainage out in that area has been sketchy, I'll say, at times, especially with the adjoining property north and east of it. You say the pond is oversized. How much? I mean,
When I
5%,
put the weir on it,
10%?
not, maybe 10%. It's not hugely oversized. And the only thing that I'll say is really conservative on this, and it's not much, but if you look at volume of the pond, they need to oversize it. That whole 12-inch pipe run, I didn't put into my calculation, so there's another maybe 5% of that volume of the pipe.
Okay.
Also, in that last downstream structure before it goes out, I did put weep holes in it, so that way water didn't store all the way into, wouldn't store in the pipe after it was done letting out. I put the weir wall at the 100-year level. But then put weep holes at the outlet.
So that it can drain down.
So it can drain down to the outlet level of that structure, not the pipe, so it wouldn't hold water between that structure and the pond.
Yeah.
It might be good, once again, prior to the meeting, figure out exactly how much it is oversized, if it's 8%, 12%, whatever it is, kind of have that number available.
Because speaking with you, I did keep if I ran it with the 8-inch and I wanted to see when it went up by the 4 inches, can I still get a weir in there that would outlet to the wetlands and still have 1 foot of freeboard? And that 1 foot of freeboard, so I mean, water will go out to it, it'll go to the wetlands where it's not causing it, it's a wetland, that's where you want the water to go, but then, so the volume of the pond, and I'll find out a volume of the pond if that wetland weren't in, so if it went to the full bank.
Yeah, as far as drainage, having this outlet being installed would be a big improvement for that
So
area.
that structure on there already goes down to, is it Donaghy Street or Doherty Street?
Yeah,
It's already connected to it, so if we connect to that structure on our site, it
Yeah.
runs to it.
okay.
So, I mean, they did some, hey, stand over there, bang on this inlet, can you hear? Yeah, there's, it's, and actually, one meeting that I was not at, and this is word of mouth, but they did dye testing on it too. Let's put dye in here and see if it goes down, and they went down Doherty Street and saw that same dye.
Yeah, and yeah, because at the initial time that we were all out there, they did not have a clue.
Right, so.
The dye testing happened after that, as far as where that might have went. That is the high upper end of the Almco outlet.
Yes. And my understanding is, so the Crick Tyndall Tile Company, that was the clay tile manufacturer years ago, that's where the back end of that property is where all the clay was mined for those tiles. That tile was kind of the outlet to keep that drained out at that time, so that they could mine clay out of there for clay tile, so.
Well, and I do know that from our last structure on site where I'm draining to and replacing the structure, just on the north side of the tracks, there's another structure, but that structure is it's an 8-inch or 12-inch pipe that just comes out. It's not really a
More of a clean out.
Sure, yeah.
It's a clean out that they connect to and how they get to that type of, but, they did see dye testing in that, and then also followed it all the way down to that intersection at Doherty, and I forget what the east-west street name is. But is that,
Or not Bond,
I don't have a exhibit that's,
it'd be basically to Wiley.
I wanted to say Jefferson, but I don't know Bluffton that well, so I don't know that that's the next street to the north that runs east-west, so. That has been dye tested to go out through there, but.
Okay. That's all the questions I've got.
But somewhere between that, here's the point that I want, somewhere between that structure that's just on the north side of the tracks and the one that's in the intersection, on the north side of the tracks, it's an 8-inch pipe going north. If you go up to the intersection, it's a 12-inch pipe going south, and there's no structures in between. And so somewhere in there, it blind changes in from an 8 to a 12.
Maybe between now and then, the city might run their camera down through there and figure out where that actually is, so.
And if there is a structure and it's been covered up, paved over.
That definitely a possibility. I've seen that
Yes.
enough times.
Have anything else? We have, timeline. Tells when we need stuff. Alright. Thank you.
Is that all you needed from me?
Yep, that is.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. All right, next up is 25-11-23, Lancaster Township, Decatur Dental Services Incorporated, request approval of a proposed 4,148 square foot building and parking lot located at 1417 Baker Place, Zone B2. So, tell us who you are.
Joe Gabbett with Foresight Consulting. I'm the engineering consultant on this project. As you mentioned, we're proposing a approximately 4,100 square foot building. This will be a completely new building. The plan for this project is to keep the existing building, which lies pretty much centered on the property, keep it up and running for as long as possible as the new building is constructed. And then once they get to a point where they can make that transition, take down the existing building, and then that area will become part of the parking lot as shown. The utilities, both water and sewer, will come from the west side. We're planning to use the existing taps for the existing building, just tie into those. I've spoke with the contractor and suggested that they get those scoped once they, have a site contractor chosen, and just make sure they're good and viable and we can use them still, so we don't get any surprises when we go to tap in. Stormwater will have a swale that runs along the south, east, and dumps into a dry detention basin on the north side. The downspouts on the south and east and I believe the north will all just splash on grade and go into the swale or the detention. We do have some downspouts on the west end and the southwest corner of the building that will be collected in pipe and taken to the detention basin. That detention basin then will outlet along the north end into the right-of-way of Baker Place and tie into existing storm line that runs then west across the highway into a regulated drain. It's the same drainage system that was utilized on the project to the north.
Were you guys involved in
Yeah.
the project? Okay. And it seems like there was something about a tile from one of the neighbors that
Yep.
maybe went through that site.
It did not.
It did not.
It does not, yeah.
Okay.
They thought it did.
They thought it did, but it turns out it didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
it goes
Okay.
north to the Sutton Circle Street.
Okay. I just remembered there was something
Yes.
about
You're right,
an off-site tile or something. Okay.
Yep.
I was just gonna give you a heads up that there may be something out there to watch for, but it apparently goes a different direction.
Yeah, they put the pipe in to pick whatever was up there, and there wasn't anything up there to pick up.
Okay.
The tile in the backyard of the neighbor goes north.
Goes north, okay. See, I just remembered there was something about that
Yeah,
several years ago, so.
I vaguely remember that too. And then the pipeline along the north that eventually ties into the existing line, that's all been designed to handle the 100-year overflow. It's fairly small watershed, so I believe that was just a 12-inch pipe, and it has plenty of fall. That existing line's fairly deep. We do have some landscaping proposed. We also have a solid wood fence that we're proposing along the east line. I think that was by ordinance. We have 2 parking lot lights, and we do have a photometrics plan included in this set. That's pretty much it. I'm open to any questions you guys have. And I believe we'll have 35 parking spaces when it's all said and done.
Which is quite a bit more than what they have today.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was one of the things the dental clinic wanted.
Okay. City's sign off didn't have any notes, primarily because you're not requesting any new services. I don't know if I have anything else. Appreciate the description.
No problem.
I guess there's a lot of questions about tiles out in that
Yeah.
area. If you encounter any, when they're digging their detention pond or whatever, just
Yeah,
when they encounter tile, make sure they figure out where it goes first and not, oh, we'll worry about it later.
yeah, we definitely instructed them on that, and then we have in multiple places in our plans, kind of a boilerplate type note, you know, contact us immediately if something's,
Let's figure this out before.
yeah, yeah. We've had that issue one too many times.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good, thank you, gentlemen. You too.
And on your detention pond, have they sent the calcs over to you?
Thank you. Looks like they're kind of following the same scheme as the site to the north of them. Okay. Everybody must need more teeth care. All right. Turn my page. Okay, next up is item 2025-108, Cheryl S. Fichter on 700 North, an addition.
So they're adding 11 acres off of the 61.17 to the confinement property for future expansion.
Move to approve?
All right. Jared made a motion to approve and it sounded like Nick seconded. Sorry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. 4-0 is the vote. Okay, next we have a double, 2025-109 and 110, Herman and Phyllis Fichter, at 1100 South and 200 East Montpelier combining, and then a minor subdivision.
Okay, so originally there's a 140 acre parcel and a 20 acre parcel. Those are getting combined together, and then they're being split apart in even properties.
Okay,
Minus the old cemetery.
Yep, correct.
where's the old cemetery at?
Southwest corner.
Oh, okay.
Move to approve.
Oh, second.
All right. Motion to approve both those by Nick and seconded by Jared. All those in favor say aye, aye.
Aye, aye.
Okay, 4-0 on both of those. Next up is number 2025-111, Caleb and Jill Longenberger, 4975 South, 750 East, an addition.
So they're adding property on the south side of the improvement parcel there from the farm, 5 acres.
Move to approve.
I'll second that one, so. Motion to approve by Jared and seconded by Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. And next up is 2025-112, Kurt and Jill Doherty, Revocable Trust, 300 west between 800 north and 900 north, minor subdivision.
All right, so, we're splitting off, or dividing in half the property on the south side. Recently at Plat Committee, we approved an addition to go to the north side. But this would be splitting up that south property into 2 even tracts. Anything to note other than the county tile that runs through that property?
Move to approve.
All right, so motion to approve by Nick and seconded by Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
4-0 is the vote. Okay, that concludes our agenda. Do we have any discussion you want to put on record?
I do not.
Okay,
To adjourn.
motion to adjourn, it's 9:35.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded, all those in favor can get up and leave.